This is Josh the Gamer here, coming at you with a brand new video. So today we're going to be learning about cameras, and as you can probably tell, I have a lot more code here than the previous tutorial. And by a lot more code, I mean a lot more code. And what this does is it essentially renders a hallway with some paintings on the walls and a flower pot at the end of the hallway and a door at the other end of the hallway. But if we run this, all we see is a brown screen. Why? It's because of the way that the scene is rendered, or it's the way that it's intended to be rendered. So, what we're going to do is we are going to add in the capabilities of the camera to make it look the way it was intended. Now, originally there were some camera stuff in here, however, I took it out for the purpose of this tutorial, and as we're learning how to use the camera, we're going to put it back in to make it work the way it should. So, let's get started. First things first, we need to import the camera, or add a use statement for it. So you need to do use libraries.game.graphics.camera. Then, after you insert that use statement, we're going to go ahead and globally, we're going to create a global object for the camera. So, camera, we're going to call this camera. We're going to set it equal to undefined. Now, inside of our create game, we're going to do camera is equal to get camera 3D. Alright, so now what we just did here is we essentially said, okay, create a camera, but set it to undefined initially. So once we do this, we can't use it until we initialize it with get camera 3D to create that new object properly. It needs to get camera 3D to create a 3D camera properly. Without it, the camera object wouldn't be of much use because we wouldn't know what kind of camera is it. Is it a 2D camera? Is it a 3D camera? What kind of camera is it? But with Get Camera 3D, we know now that it's a camera that displays a 3D scene. So, now we need to set the position of the camera, which works exactly like any other 3D object. It takes in an X, Y, and a Z. So it takes in a position in the 3D space. So we're going to say camera set position, and then this set position will take in either a vector 3, which is a three-dimensional vector, or an X, Y, and Z coordinate separate. So we're going to go ahead and just pass in those separate numbers. So 0, 25, negative 500. Now this is important for how we're going to render this. Scene. So as it stands at the current moment, we're going to go ahead and save this, and we're going to run it again just to see exactly what we're working with. So as you can see, this is what we're working with right now. This is what it's looking like at the moment. As you can see, there's the door, there's a painting on the wall with the Quorum logo, there's a little ball, and then there's a table with a flower. However, it's not looking quite the way we want it to look yet. So now we're going to add in a look at action. Now, what does the look at action do? Well, the look at action allows the camera to look at a specific point in the 3D space. So in this case, we're going to say camera look at 0, 0, 0. All right. Let's save it and run it now and see what it looks like. Now that looks better. That looks so much better. All right. So now what we need to do is we need to set a far and a near. Now, what is far and near? Well, when you call the set far method or action with the camera, what that will do is it'll say how far do we want the camera to render something. And then the set near action will say how close do we want to render things. So, camera set far. Now, if we look at the documentation here, it says that this action will set the distance to the far clipping plane of the camera. So it'll set how far, it'll set the distance between the camera and the far clipping plane. So that way it'll give us more of a hallway effect the way that we're using this. Alright, so when we pass this a number parameter, we're going to pass this a value of 1,000. So 1,000 meters. Camera colon set near. And then if we look at the documentation for set near here in the Sodbeans IDE, excuse me, so it says that this action will set the distance to the near clipping plane of the camera. So essentially, anything that is closer than the distance of the near clipping plane will not be seen by the camera. So go ahead and do that, and then pass it a 1. Pass it a value of 1. So 1 meter. Anything closer than 1 meter, it will not be seen. So let's go ahead and run it now and see what it looks like. Yeah, there we go. See, this is starting to look more and more like a hallway. But yeah, guys, so that is essentially how the camera works. It's very simple. Let's go over what exactly we did. First off, we created a use statement for the camera. That way we can use the camera in our code. We created a camera object and set it equal to undefined. So if we tried to use any of this, the set position, look at, far, near, that kind of stuff, it wouldn't work. And then inside our create game, we set camera equal to get camera 3D, which if we go here into the declaration, it returns a camera, but it returns the camera in the current layer 3D. Now, we set the position to an X of 0, a Y of 25, and a Z of negative 500. We set the camera to look at 0, 0, 0 on the X, Y, and Z axes inside of the 3D space, so the center of the 3D space. We set the far clipping plane to a value of 1,000. and we set the near clipping plane to 1 meter. So anything farther than 1,000 meters, it will not see. Anything closer than 1 meter, it will not see either. And then anything in the crate hallway, you don't necessarily need to know, simply because it's just a bunch of other code that was made for the purpose of creating the hallway. So, anyways guys, that'll do it for this tutorial on cameras. In the next tutorial, we will be learning about point lights. We'll see you all then.